Meine Herren, the target for today is an enemy frontline strongpoint just south of the Kuban River. Each aircraft will carry 32 or 16 50-kilogram general-purpose bombs to effect the destruction of this target. Our fighter escort, Bf-109s from JG-52, will meet us over Zaporozhskaya airfield at waypoint 2. Expect light flak over the target, and upon crossing the front line to the west of it. Fighter interception is likely, as we'll be flying close to a number of Soviet fighter regiments. The formation will bomb from an altitude of 3,000 meters, or lower if the weather forces us lower. Track on the run-up will be 107 degrees. The Kuban River, Liman Kolobaitsky Lakes, and several other smaller bodies of water should be plainly visible on the run-up to the target. That's all. Good luck. Welcome aboard my HE-111 for the 7th mission of this 111 career. Let's get configured for takeoff. I'll close down the water radiators to 75%, open up the oil radiators to 75%, set flaps to 15 degrees, all a pretty standard drill by now, and set takeoff power. We should be taking off pretty much directly into the wind, taking off facing north-northwest. I'll fly runway heading for a little bit after takeoff, and then we'll make a right turn onto a track of 09 or 5 out towards Zaporozhskaya, where we'll pick up our fighter escort. Anyway, airspeed's alive, coming up through 100. $150. And 160, 170, we can probably lift off. Gear up. Approaching, well, about 190 now, flaps up. Turn for climb and set climb power. There we go. And now that we've put on some speed, I'll actually throttle back to maximum continuous, which should enable our formation to get formed up a little quicker as I make our turn, which I will do shortly. I'll just carry on runway heading for, oh no, another 30 seconds, then make a turn and head for the target. Right, so here's the situation. We should, in principle, be in the vicinity of Zaporozhskaya airfield. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much dead center of where I'm looking right now. Actually, what's that? That looks like, vaguely like an airfield building. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm not loving our chances of being able to locate and hit the target through this low cloud. Anyway, there's our fighters. We're passing over the field now. I've already computed our drift correction, so we're going to come right to a corrected heading of 09 or 7, and that should in principle take us in the direction of the target. Now let's have a look what our first visual checkpoint will be. Okay, basically passing over the middle of this lake here, and this town if we spot it, which seems unlikely, but yeah, we'll see about that. Yeesh. Yeah, depending how things look as we get closer to the target, we may actually have to go in low today. The thing about this cloud layer is at about 1,000 meters. At the very least, it will force us down to 1,000 to get underneath it. It is very thick in some places, but it also has really big holes in it. Now, if we get lucky, our target might be under one of those holes, but it's really going to be a bit difficult to know until we actually get there. Anything discernible over there? It's a distinctly shaped lake. That might be this one that we're supposed to pass just to the right of it, which my corrected view in the site says we will. Okay, well that puts us at least vaguely on track, so we are at least on our way. We'll just be a decision point as we near the target. Well, 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 here's the situation. You see those little lakes down there, like the four of them that are almost forming a square? These ones? Our target should be in and amongst those. Currently not covered by cloud, however, there's some rolling in from the north pretty quickly. So we're going to need to race those clouds a little bit. But in any case, this might as well be considered our initial point, so let's get cracking here. I've got all bombs selected, even though it doesn't look that way. They're illuminated in green rather than yellow. That's just the way it works with these. I brought the 50 kilogram bombs today because I thought we'd be able to saturate a larger area with them. And from more of a historical perspective than a gameplay one, the sort of payload you might take for a mission like this. For anti-structure work, you want bigger bombs generally, in real life anyway. In IL-2, a bomb of any size will knock down a building of any size, which is certainly not realistic, but anyway. Because I recall the last time we hit, it wasn't a strong point, but it was artillery positions, the target was a pretty large area, and our bomb pattern is very wide, but not very deep, if that makes sense, that I've seen before when we take just the 8 250s. So I thought with the standard drop interval, we might be able to cover a larger area with these. Pretty experimental, at least as far as gameplay goes in this case, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to crank open those bomb bay doors. I suspect we'll bring our speed back to about 300. Alter our wind correction very slightly. I think I can see an object around the target popping into view there. So that's nice. The speed isn't really coming back yet. Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely something down there. And the clouds are closing in. This is really going to come down to the last minute, isn't it? Speed's actually holding closer to 310. What are our engine temperatures like? I'll crank the radiators open a little further, and that'll probably get rid of some more speed. Get us down more towards 300. Well, I think we're going to be able to do this from this altitude, which is a pretty major relief. And that, yeah, that's got to be the target. I can only, oh, maybe a few more objects popping into view now. Well, I'll try to aim for the center of whatever cluster I can see. Yeah, drop on my command, that's all good. It might be under cloud right at the moment of release, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. We'll be able to see enough, I think. In fact, why don't I see what the automatic mode does? It's not really behaving itself. Speed's closer to 300 now anyway. I'm actually going to use it. Yeah, bombs away. And is dropping them. That's all good then. Well, we dropped our bombs partially blind. We'll see if we can see the effect afterwards as we pass beyond this cloud. I still can't see very much that's down there. But maybe there's more than we can see. And big old stream of bombs. Yeah, that's covering a nice large area. Well, hopefully that does some damage for us. I think I see something burning down there, so it's doing a little more than nothing. Alright, well, bomb bay doors are closing. Track for their turn leg is 277. We'll need to correct about 10 degrees to starboard, so I'll come right to a heading of 287. Oh, don't climb, you muppet. That was a very slovenly turn. I should be ashamed of myself. And I'm doing the opposite thing. Anyway, yes, I need to focus on making a level turn. But fighter engaging. Fun. Okay. And our fighters aren't reporting anything. Have they gotten separated from us at some point? I haven't actually... who's this? I'm not sure those were 109s. At a glance, those kind of look vaguely LA5 shaped. Anyway, 287, level off. And... give me the gun, please. What are you, sir? That looks vaguely like a 109, actually. Yeah, that's a 109, but what about the other thing? Oh boy, we've got a whole mix-up. Someone's going down. Ooh, those are Soviet tracers. One of ours says target destroyed, so that's possibly an enemy going down. Yeah. The bomber formation is falling a little behind. I really don't want to throttle back though. More tracers going out. Those look a little bit red. Those might have been Soviet tracers. Well, it looks like our fighters are keeping them busy for the moment, which is okay. Well, in that case, I'm actually going to hop back down into the cockpit and throttle back a little bit in order to regain formation integrity and hopefully not slow down too much in the process. I'll close down the radiators back to where they were, because that should be adequate with the bomb bay doors shut, and I'll hop back up on this turret again. Give me the gun. Engaging fighter to the east 6 kilometers. Yeah, I don't see anyone super close, so that's vaguely promising. Does he have his bomb doors open? I think he might. Well, that's a bit silly. Yeah, I don't see anything. What about below us? Okay. Uh-oh. I think that's one of our fighters that's hit down there. I think those are fighters trailing behind us. Not sure if they're ours or theirs. Huh. Yeah, I'm really not sure what those are. Well, in the absence of a super duper immediate threat, I'm going to hop back up into the cockpit and do a little bit of navigational work. Okay, what do we got down here? What's this town? It's very square. Actually, it isn't. Oh, it's this. Veranovskaya, which we're passing just north of, which is fine. Okay, that's close enough to us being on course for an urgent situation such as this. No, I say urgent. I really don't see anything anymore. What about below us? Yeah, I think our fighters must have seen them off, at least for the time being. Well, I'll keep a weather eye out as we make our return trip. And come back if anything interesting stroke alarming should happen. Righty, righty. That is home down there. I've just ordered the formation to break off and land on their own, and we're going to try and sneak in ahead of them and try and get landed and shut down before any silly buggers can happen. Because I've been experimenting with various ways and means of trying to prevent the kind of silliness that happened in missions 1 and 3, and I've been pretty successful so far, mostly just by ordering these guys back to base basically earlier rather than later. So hopefully that's an issue that can be kept to a minimum anyway. Now we're going to land trying to face a heading of approximately 345, because that's where the wind's coming from. Pop the lights on, and I'll probably use more or less the full length of the runway. And I'll just dogleg myself out onto a right base a little bit, because I need to get rid of a little bit of speed. Okay, I don't mind if we're landing in a very slight crosswind. The surface wind isn't that bad, it's just particularly brisk up at altitude, like where we were bombing from. But we seem to have done okay. We'll find out afterwards what the actual bomb damage was. Still carrying more speed than I'd like, so just casually get rid of that with a slip. Okay, 250, gear down. And set flaps 40, and put some throttle in before we stall. And that's us set up pretty well. We're even on the exact heading we want to be on, so, well, hopefully all goes well. Speed, I'll hold about 160 until we're over the field. Just a little more power to maintain that. And I've even been given landing clearance. Although, once again, when it comes to that sort of thing... Oh. Here we go again. I tend to prefer to ask for forgiveness and permission. Well, at least no one's in a vertical dive into the ground yet. But I need to land, and it's raining. Well, that makes things interesting, because it's distorting my view through the windscreen a little bit. Although I have read in a number of places that the windscreen panels on the real 111 tended to distort the image a bit even when they weren't wet, so... Oh! Okay. Drop that in like a grand piano. Oh well. I'll sort of just vaguely angle for the hangars over here so that I'm off the main landing surface. We can shut down over there. Pop the radiators open a little bit to get some air through the engines. We need it. But I can probably pop the lights off. Probably should have waited until we were completely clear, actually, but whatever. And yeah, we're still on the landing surface, so just get off it, then we'll shut down. I'll say that we're off the runway once we're on the greener grass here, because I think that's pretty much the way it is. There's some 111s parked over there. We didn't quite bring the squadron's entire inventory on this mission. We haven't got any replenishment of aircraft in a couple of days, but we haven't taken any really significant losses either, so we're probably doing okay as far as that goes. Anyway, we're shut down, landing successful. Let's debrief and find out what we accomplished in the end. So, I destroyed one cannon, presumably like an artillery gun, and that's alright. Let's find out what the rest of the formation managed. Because I didn't really see much on the ground. Honestly, if we get a strong point attack mission again, we might have to come in a little lower in order to actually see it properly. Because I did not see much on that. Anyway, on the mission to bomb the strong point, the formation got one truck, 5 machine guns, 5 cannons, and 1 anti-aircraft gun. So we probably did a fair amount of damage to the enemy strongpoint, assuming... So the cannons might actually have been anti-tank guns if it's like a frontline strongpoint. Anyway, that seems to have been reasonably successful. I'm going to keep the sortie or sorties for the next day concealed underneath my hat for the time being. But I'll be back with the next mission fairly soon. Toodles.